Good morning, everybody. I'm Pat Patterson. Outside this country, Formula One racing is the most popular form of motorsports in the world. Once again, the Formula One season kicks off in the U.S. in Phoenix with today's Iceberg United States Grand Prix, where Ayrton Senna is on the pole for the 53rd time in his career. Joining us by satellite from Phoenix is three-time world driving champion Jackie Stewart. And Jackie, good morning to you, and I hope it's a good morning for racing out in Phoenix.
Well, good morning, Patrick. The sun's just coming up at the present time. Lovely morning, beautiful temperature at the present time, and I think everyone's going to see some good racing here today.
All right, Jackie, the question is, Formula One has not been that successful in the U.S. We won't go into that past history, but tell me what we can do or why it should be successful in the U.S.
Well, it has had a nomadic life here. It's been to several different locations around America, from Sebring to Watkins Glen to Long Beach to Dallas to Las Vegas to Detroit and now to Phoenix itself. That doesn't help. But I think the biggest problem is that there are no American drivers in this race this weekend here in Phoenix. And I think you're a very domestic public in America with regards to your appreciation of sport. With no American, you haven't got the vivid interest that you might have otherwise if you had Alonso Jr. or perhaps Michael Andretti up there, perhaps going for the front end of the field. So I think that that has a big part to play in the fact that it's not just as popular yet as it might be in the future.
Is it important from the sanctioning body's standpoint, from Bernie Ecclestone's standpoint and all the folks that govern over F1, Jackie, is it important to them to race in the U.S.?
I believe it's important because America's a major car-producing nation in the world. There is a Grand Prix in Japan, there's one in Italy, there's one in France, there's one in Britain. All of the countries that make cars, there's a Grand Prix. And people like the Ford Motor Company, all the Hondas, all the Ferraris, all the Lamborghinis, all the Renaults, all the Americans are now getting into it because the Ilmor Chevrolet engine is a derivative from the Indy engine that's important for them also. And I think America is such a big motorized public that there should be a World Championship Grand Prix in this country. Keep in mind, there's only one Grand Prix in each country each year.
Jackie, the accessibility of drivers to the media and to the public here in the United States, we have access to those people. They're very accessible. We can talk to them, we can touch them, we can get an autograph. How much of that do you feel like doesn't happen with Formula One, and would it help if it was better?
Well, I do believe that the Formula One drivers have to be more accessible than they are at the present time. Of course, keep in mind there's a human interest factor about these fellas that may be a little different than even your domestic drivers. You know, Ayrton Senna, for example, who's on pole this weekend here, earns $15 million a year. That's $15 million a year. Now, there's a big excitement in America recently when a baseball player was paid $5 million a year. So Alain Prost earns about 15. There's quite a few of them earning big money. So they're pretty inaccessible in certain ways, but they're exciting in others.
Jackie, have a great day out in Phoenix. I hope it's a good race for you, and thank you so much for spending some time with us. All right, Jackie Stewart from Phoenix says they'll start the F1 season off today. In our viewer opinion question last week, we asked you, should full-time Winston Cup drivers be allowed to compete in Busch Grand National races? You felt very strongly that they shouldn't actually, by a margin of 83% to 17%. This week's question focuses your attention on the Formula One circuit, which races in 16 events on 5 continents. We'd like to know, or we want to ask you this question: does the Formula One Championship accurately reflect who is the best driver in the world? You can call us at 1-900-860-2243 using a touch-tone phone to voice your opinion. That's 1-900-860-2243. Calls are 95 cents, and children under 18, please get your parents' permission before dialing. We'll be right back.
There's smoke, there's fire. The surefire performance of AC Delco. We don't just race, we win. The world's fastest and most exotic Mercedes-Benz comes on Goodyear Eagle radials, and only on Goodyear Eagle radials. Why? Because the engineers at Mercedes-Benz want it that way. And they're another reason why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them. You may have already heard about 1-900-FUN on TNN. You may have even been one of the thousands of callers who have dialed in to play our country music trivia game, or to join a fan club, or to enter one of our TNN sweepstakes for a chance to win valuable prizes. If you haven't already called 1-900-FUN on TNN, you might want to try it now. If you have, maybe it's time you call again. Each call costs 95 cents per minute.
Neither rain, beast, nor flyaway balloons keep folks away from the fair. Hosted by Mike Snyder.
Well, I moved that dish across the sky and I locked her down on West Star 5, and there sat a man with a beard and a funny hat.
I'm dreaming of you. With the Statler brothers as special guests, you'll love Fairs and Festivals, Bluefield, West Virginia. Wednesday night, 8 Eastern on TNN.
Welcome back, everybody. Last weekend was one of the busiest in the young racing season. Here's Mark Allen with a review.
Defending Goodwrench 500 champion Kyle Petty led the field to the green after setting a new track record in qualifying. Ken Schrader was on the outside. The mellow yellow driver led the early laps and showed that he had the car to beat this day. One of the few cautions in the event came out when Harry Gant and Richard Petty tangled, collecting Dave Marcus and Jeff Purvis in the process. The only man who could mount a challenge to Petty seemed to be Rusty Wallace, who took the lead for the first time before halfway and was still leading at the mid-race point. Rick Mast's blown engine in the final quarter of the event brought out a caution while Ken Schrader was pitting for a tire change. This is an advantage under NASCAR's latest pit rules. When racing got back underway, the younger Petty slipped high, and his chances for a repeat win seemed to be slipping away. When he made his final stop, Petty got the break he needed as Joe Ruttman spun, bringing out the caution while Petty was changing tires. Even though he was a lap down, he had fresh rubber and the gas he needed to go the distance. On the subsequent restart, Petty got back on the lead lap. Wallace fell out late in the event with a blown engine. Petty took the top spot back by passing Schrader on the final restart after a spin by Gant. Kyle led the final 10 circuits and collected the Unocal bonus of over $68,000. Petty was asked what is his secret at the Rock.
I have no idea. I promise I don't, because we're not anywhere even close, spring-wise or car-wise, to what we were last March here. We're closer to what we were in October, and we changed everything then. We changed everything yesterday afternoon in the last practice. So it's just one of those deals where I've got John Wilson builds a great motor, and Gary pretty much knows shocks and stuff and tires, and he puts you in a car, and all you got to do is ride around.
Petty earned over $130,000 for his day's work. Schrader hung on for second, with Harry Gant recovering for third, Ricky Rudd was fourth, and Phil Elliott fifth. John Force made it to his third funny car final round at the Fram Super Nationals in Houston, where he faced Ed McCulloch. The ace got the whole shot, but shut down almost immediately, and Force took his second win of the young season with a 5:21 pass at 278 miles per hour. Scott Jeffrion borrowed an engine from AC Delco teammate Warren Johnson for the Pro Stock final. He got a dead-even start with Darrell Alderman, but the Dodge driver outpowered Jeffrion at mid-track and pulled away for his third Nationals victory of the year with a 7:19 at 189 miles per hour in the fastest side-by-side Pro Stock race ever.
The only trouble we're having is with a little bit of problems with the clutch. We almost wore out everything we had here at Houston, and we're going to have more parts at Gainesville for sure.
Kenny Bernstein put the Budweiser top fueler in the finals for the second straight week with consistent 4-second runs through the elimination rounds. He got a tremendous hole shot on Gene Snow, and when the Snowman had mechanical problems, Bernstein cruised to a 495, 291 mile per hour win. In Sunday's Camel GT race, three-time GTU champion Tommy Kendall started from the pole but was quickly passed by Davy Jones at the green flag. The Jaguar driver opened up a substantial lead as Nissan teammates Chip Robinson and Jeff Brabham moved into second and third. Pole sitter Kendall got by the spinning Brian Bonner, but later in the first hour lost a lap while changing 4 tires. Robinson's race ended after he spun in water from his own overheating engine. During the second hour, Wayne Taylor moved the new American-built Intrepid into second place, but the small-block Chevy-powered car was unable to make up any ground on the leading Jaguar as Jones cruised to his 4th career GTP win.
You know, we set the pace, and I hope that this is a trend for the season, and you know, my compliments to the whole team. They did a tremendous job, and I'm very pleased, but there's a long way to go and a lot to learn.
Taylor finished an impressive second in the Intrepid's debut. Brabham was third, with Kendall hanging on for fourth and Rocky Moran fifth. In the World of Outlaws feature Saturday night at Bakersfield, California, the local contingent was strong as Steve Kent and Nick Racino led the field to the green. Brent Kading got sandwiched between third-place starter Steve Kinzer and pole sitter Kent. Kading went around and was hit by Marty Wilcox, but both were able to continue. Kinzer took over the top spot when Kent's throttle cable broke, sidelining him on the third lap. Stevie K was still out front when Gene Manhire got in the way and almost sent the race leader spinning. Manhire did not make it easy for second-place Jimmy Sills either. He and Sills banged wheels with the defending USAC Silver Crown champion suffering obvious steering damage that eliminated the only car that seemed capable of mounting a challenge to Kinzer. Kinzer took his third win of the year and closed in on Doug Wolfgang's record of 4 straight at the start of the 1981 season. Finishing second was Steve's cousin Mark Kinzer, with Ronnie Day third, Dave Blaney fourth, and Brent Kading fifth. This is Mark Allen reporting for TNN Motorsports Magazine.
All right, the Miller 500 Classic is all set to go today at the beautiful half-mile facility in Martinsville, Virginia. Here's Busch Grand National qualifying action from Thursday.
34 drivers went on the clock under perfect weather condition around track owner Clay Earle's half-mile. Defending series champ Chuck Bound, running Goodyear radial tires, posted the fastest lap of the first 10 out. We mentioned the tire make because that was an issue. 3 cars after Bound, Elton Sawyer put his Buick on the clock with Hoosier bias-ply tires. The Chesapeake, Virginia driver scooted to a 91.1 mile-per-hour lap and became the man to beat. Dave Rezendes came the closest to knocking Sawyer from the pole, and he too was on Hoosier. Butch Miller was another of the few drivers who chose Hoosier, but in terms of qualifying, it was a good decision as he turned in the 4th fastest time. The only Goodyear shod car in the first 2 rows belongs to Bobby Labonte, who ran an even 90 miles per hour for the 3rd spot. Sawyer's best Grand National finish came last year at this race.
Well, anytime you can win the pole, you know, it's very satisfying. I just take my hat off to Mike Hillman, all the guys that prepared this car. And, you know, it's awful nice to come to Martinsville and here in Virginia and being an all-Virginia-based team and give Gwaltney and all those people a lot of exposure if we could win here on Sunday.
4 of the top 10 qualifiers are from Virginia. This is Mark Allen reporting for TNN Motorsports Magazine.
She may not care that visual perfection took years to develop. She may not care that visual perfection, state-of-the-art technology, produces an unsurpassed, deep, rich, brilliant color. Well, maybe she does. Visual perfection from Eagle One, the ultimate auto polish.
Now you can get Lee Takes Command from Time Life Books' monumental series, The Civil War, for just $4.99. I'll be back to tell you how.
In The Civil War from Time Life Books, you'll read why our country went to war against itself. You'll understand the cause and see the effects on the field and on the home front. Beginning with Lee Takes Command, yours free to examine for 10 days, to keep for only $4.99. And with your purchase, receive the Civil War Almanac free. Get both sides of this great and tragic story in Time Life Books' Civil War.
Call now for your free examination of Lee Takes Command. If you decide to keep it, pay just $4.99. That's $10 off the regular price. Other books will follow about every other month on the same free examination. Buy only the ones you want, cancel anytime. So dial this toll-free number now. We're waiting for your call.
That area of the country, Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas, all that surrounding area is real salt-of-the-earth people. And I really like those people back there and like to write songs about them. And I'm very proud of being from the state of Oklahoma. My favorite song probably all time is He Stopped Loving Her Today by George Jones. It epitomizes everything about a great country song. TNN is great for country music. It gives a lot of the new artists a chance to be seen. and it does a lot for country music. I'm really proud to be a part of it.
Catch Bill Dance Outdoors as Bill guides you through a half hour of fishing instruction, education, and just some plain down-home fun. Let Bill teach you his techniques for locating and catching a wide variety of fish. Bill Dance Outdoors is brought to you in part by Ranger Boats. Bill Dance Outdoors, Sports Sunday at 2 and 9:30 p.m. Eastern on TNN.
Welcome back, everybody. Racers have a saying, speed costs money. How fast do you want to go? Money is the lifeblood of racing, and some very good Busch Grand National teams are having a tough time finding the dollars this year they need to run fast and win. Here's Mark Allen with a report on Grand National sponsorships.
Based on last year's Grand National results, 3 drivers in particular were looking forward to 1991. Jimmy Hensley won at Nazareth, and by finishing second in the points, had one of his best seasons last year since the series was formed. Young Steve Grissom came on strong in the second half of the season, winning 4 times and totaling the 3rd most points. And second-year driver Tom Peck, while winless, was consistently strong and was 5th in the final driver standings. But 1991 is shaping up to be anything but a springboard to bigger and better days for this trio. The problem is the blank space on the hood. In other words, no major sponsor.
Well, it's been really frustrating because when we first started, we didn't have a sponsor either, but, you know, we knew we had to build our way to the top to get a chance of getting a sponsor. And we're pretty close to the top right now, and we still haven't been able to get a sponsor, you know, so it's been pretty frustrating. It's probably the hardest part of this racing game that I have to put up with. I can put up with the wrecks, and I can put up with the disappointments of not running well and that kind of stuff, but the sponsor side, that was probably my hardest part to put up with.
Excepting local sponsors, the Thomas Racing Team hasn't had any major support since coming south in 1989. Such was not the case for Grissom, who had Big Mama Meat Snacks as a sponsor in 1990. But late in the season, the company was bought out, and the 4-time race winner was back in the sponsor search business. Big Mama Meat Snacks went from a prominent position on Grissom's car to a less visible one on Bobby Labonte's Oldsmobile. Goodmark Foods now owns both snack products.
You know, right now we've been going since the 1st of October when we found out Big Mama had been sold, and there's been a lot of people knocking on a lot of doors, and so far we just hadn't got any open.
Hensley's sponsor, Crown Fast Fare, decided to withdraw after last season. From a publicity and thus sponsor standpoint, the Grand National Series has never been more attractive. Every race is broadcast on radio, and all but a few events have live network TV coverage. But late last year, Hensley's team was caught in the same vice which has affected all motorsports in the last 8 months.
The economy, you know, has not been real good, I think, in 90, and plus the war, and it just kind of got everybody just holding on to the money, I guess. Like I say, it is a lot of good cars and drivers, you know, without sponsorship right now, and we happen to be one of them. But, you know, hopefully this thing over in the Middle East is coming to an end, and things will get on the roll again and get the economy going back good. So hopefully we can get us a sponsor.
In the meantime, the trick is to stretch every dollar as far as it will go.
Well, we was going to build 2 or 3 new cars over the winter, which, you know, we didn't. Wound up selling 1, and we're down to 3 cars right now. And just, you know, stuff like that. We did test at Richmond. We didn't come and test at Rockingham. We went to Daytona in December and didn't go in January, and things like that. Just kind of cut corners that way to try to save a little bit.
There's a lot of things that in our situation we have to do, and it makes it kind of hard. You can't really plan ahead to next week. It's kind of, you have to just watch your pennies and dimes right now and make everything count.
We're down to 3 engines, which is just about the minimum amount you can work with week after week. So, you know, our inventory's down, basically. We need to come up with a sponsor so we can build our inventory up, so we can do some testing, and so we can look a year down the road instead of just 2 weeks down the road.
Even if the money dried up and the doors closed, it's been a great ride.
Mark Thomas, the team owner, he's no quitter, and I'm no quitter. I mean, we're going to do whatever we got to do to keep doing this, and basically the last 2 or 3 years, I've done exactly what I've always wanted to do. I mean, I don't have any complaints. If this thing was to end tomorrow, I've had the best time of my life the last 2 or 3 years. So, you know, it's not going to end, but if it would, you know, we've already got our money's worth, so to speak.
This is Mark Allen reporting for TNN Motorsports Magazine.
All right, joining us in the studio is a man who knows both ends of the spectrum as far as sponsorship goes. We're going to switch and talk a little bit about Winston Cup now, and Barry Dodson is here with us. Barry, of course, you've been on top with the Winston Cup team and been a championship team with it. Now you're starting a new deal with Mickey Gibbs, and you guys have not got sponsorship, just like we talked about or just heard from the Busch Grand National. It is tough and it is frustrating. How are you getting through it?
Well, we're getting through it by virtue of having a very good owner in Sam McMahon. He's a local Charlotte businessman. That makes it easy having the funding and the support of Sam. The tough part is dealing with it, you know, mentally, knowing that we've been on top and here we are starting over, yet I think we're building what's going to be a top-notch team, and we just need to get something on the car right now.
All right, I know you've talked to a lot of people about sponsorship, and obviously talk is cheap, and when you actually get down to signing a contract, what makes you money. But have you, the reasons for why has it been so tough this year?
Hopefully it's been, maybe the war had something to do with it. I know this is the first time I've ever read the money part of the newspaper, trying to keep up with what's going on, and it's so competitive out there, and we're hoping that the war being over, the economy taking an upswing, that maybe somebody will take a look at us.
How do you feel like your progress has been, given the fact that you haven't had the money that a lot of people have had this year so far, and you got a rookie driver? Have you felt like the progress has been there through the first 3 races?
It's certainly been there. When you go to Richmond, Virginia, and you go to Rockingham, and it's 0.6 of a second from 1st to 30th, 1st to 40th, and you show up and you make these races and you finish them, you've made a lot of progress, and that's where we are right now.
Mickey Gibbs has won a lot of races in his career. Is he adjusting well to having to go after these Winston Cup guys on a weekly basis?
I think he's surprised at how competitive it is week to week. He has adjusted well. He's got a lot of potential. He doesn't have some of the bad habits that some of the old drivers have, you know, on maybe bias-ply tires versus radial, and he's learning every week along with us. He's doing a good job.
I want to wish you a lot of luck down in Atlanta. I hope you get some big-name money on that car as quickly as you can, and appreciate you coming by and spending some time with us.
Thank you very much. We went down last Wednesday, had a good test, and we're looking for big things.
All right, that's Barry Dodson. Now let's give you the starting grid for the NASCAR modified portion of today's Miller 500 Classic.
It's your boss on the phone. He says, do you still work here or not?
I called the airline like you said, and sure, there's a later flight. Tomorrow.
When you just can't wait to get started, start with the Champion from Walmart. Pound for pound, the most powerful automotive battery you can buy. Just $49.96 at Walmart every day.
Are you still living with this nightmare? Over 1 million motorists have said never again. They've switched to Triple Edge, and the difference is amazing. Triple Edge is the world's first high-tech windshield wiper. It clears, it cleans, it wipes dry, all in a single pass. But that's not all. Triple Edge wipers won't tear, dry rot, or freeze to your windshield. They're made from DuPont Nordell, the same material used in 50,000-mile radial tires. So strong, they're guaranteed for as long as you own your car. If they ever fail, we'll replace them free. Triple Edge gives you visibility through the heaviest downpour. It whisks away snow and ice. Even mud is no match for Triple Edge.
The day after I got my Triple Edge wipers, we had a big snowstorm with blowing sleet and wind. Everybody had trouble seeing except me. My visibility was beautiful.
Join the satisfied million who have switched to Triple Edge. No noise, no streaking, no smearing, no tearing. Triple Edge wipers are only $19.95 a pair. Custom fit to install in seconds on your car, van, or truck. Order yours now. They're the last windshield wipers you'll ever buy.
Call toll-free 1-800-842-4444 or send $19.95 plus $4.50 shipping and handling to Triple Edge Wipers, care of TV Offer, Box 10030, Stamford, Connecticut. Please include your car's make, model, and year for correct sizing. Use your credit card and call 1-800-842-4444. Call now.
And welcome back, everybody. The field is set and ready to go for the Miller 500 Classic. Let's check in with Bill Hennessy at Martinsville for the latest information before the green flag. Good morning, Bill, and what's the story from Martinsville?
Well, Pat, today looks like we're going to have a good day for racing if you enjoy being a little cool. It's about 47 degrees right now, and anticipated high to be about 53, 54 degrees, but it is cloudy and overcast, and the wind is whipping around a bit.
Bill, any big surprises as far as qualifying goes up there and the fields, whether it be modified or Busch Grand National?
I think that the big surprise is Elton Sawyer sitting on the pole in his Gwaldy of Smithfield Buick. He didn't set a new track record, but he was able to get around the track at 91.196 miles per hour, and he's flanked by Dave Resendez. Now, Elton has never won a Busch Grand National race, and Resendez is in a position possibly to pick up his first here this afternoon.
Seems like we're talking tires again, Hoosier versus Goodyear, and apparently Hoosier's done a respectable job this weekend at Martinsville.
Ray Hill and his staff are mounting up a lot of Hoosiers for a lot of these drivers this afternoon. I think that they're heads up with Goodyear at this racetrack and possibly will reinstate their competitiveness here this weekend.
Bill, as far as the weather and the modified cars, cooler temperatures usually give everybody a little bit of an advantage. You think the cool temperatures today are going to work in favor of everybody out there?
Well, I think especially for the drivers from New England who are familiar with running in a little cooler weather. George Kent, you know, starting on the pole, and as Arthur Barry owned Chevrolet. Kent has won 3 of these races in the past, but hasn't won a race in the modified tour in over a year and a quarter. So maybe today might be his day. He's flanked by Carl Pasteryak. It's interesting to know that the national champion is starting way back in 19th starting position. That's Jamie Tomato. And last year's winner of the race is starting 18th, Reggie Ruggiero.
Okay, Bill, thank you very much, and I hope it's a good day for you up in Martinsville. We'll check back with you later on. Thanks,
okay, Pat.
Thanks for you this morning for watching our show. Coming up at 5:30 Eastern on TNN Motorsports Magazine Afternoon Edition, we'll have a progress report from the Miller 500 Classic in Martinsville, and we'll have yesterday's action from around the country. Plus, Ricky Rudd joins us in the studio. I'm Pat Patterson for everybody. We'll see you later this afternoon.
Guest of TNN Motorsports Magazine. Stay at the luxurious Charlotte Guest Quarters Suite Hotel. To make every stay extra special, call 1-800-424-2900.
This is TNN, the Nashville Network, the #1 source for country music, entertainment, and information.
She's a preacher's daughter. Holly Dunn stars on stage Tuesday on TNN.
Now Boland's brings you a completely new idea in lawn mowing. It's the Boland's one-step mulching advantage with breakthrough GRS technology, a patent-pending grass reduction system that ends bagging, raking, and disposal problems forever. The Boland's one-step secret is GRS, a completely new deck attachment that cuts and recuts clippings so fine they're easily returned to your soil as free fertilizer. The result is a beautiful, healthy lawn in just one step, without bagging or raking. In fact, with Boland's one-step GRS attachment, there's no grass clipping cleanup, period. And now there's a complete family of Boland's one-step mowers, including America's #1 walk-behind mulching mower.
For a free full-color catalog on our complete lineup of Boland's one-step mulching mowers, plus a special savings certificate worth up to $300 off our newest one-step GRS model, call toll-free 1-800-245-1010. That's 1-800-245-1010.
T. Graham Brown, George Lindsay, Nashville Now, Tuesday.